This episode is a little bit controversial. Welcome back. I'm Gilaross, host of the Power Up podcast, where we share short, relatable ideas that impact and upgrade our everyday lives. And in this series, Torah for Today, we take a short idea from the Torah portion of the week and use it to uplift our week. Every so often, someone will come to me and ask me for advice on making a decision. And oftentimes, the decision that they're grappling with is a decision where one of the choices that the person has is a little bit more dangerous, usually in a spiritual or an emotional sense, than the other. And they want to know which one they should do. For example, it could be about where to live, or where to send their child to school, or whether to let their child have a phone at a young age or get on social media at a young age. And one of the choices has a little bit of a danger to it, but there might be advantages or there might be a compelling reason why the person feels that they need to make that choice. And very often the mindset that we have going into making those decisions is, yes, I recognize that there might be danger, but I'm going to be fine. So what I want to discuss today is, what should our attitude be? Should we go in with a positive mindset, saying, yeah, it's going to be fine? Or should we go in with a less positive mindset and recognize the dangers that they are? So here's the thing. Towards the end of his life, Moses talks to the Jewish people and he gives them rebuke. What's fascinating about it is he teaches us how to give rebuke, how to tell people off, because he goes through all the different places that the Jews stayed when they were traveling through the desert. And what we're actually told is that each place that Moses is telling the Jews about, it's not just the place that they visited, but he's actually hinting to something wrong that they did. But because he didn't want to come right out and tell them, you did X, Y, Z wrong, because it's embarrassing. Instead, he just gave them a hint by telling them the name of the place they were in when they went when they did wrong. So one of the things that the Jewish people did wrong was that they built the golden calf. And he hinted to the golden calf by using the name Dai Zahav, which means more than enough gold. What is he saying here is Moses is saying, he's kind of blaming the fact that the Jews made the golden calf on the fact that they came out of Egypt with so much gold. And he's kind of saying that because you, the Jews, had so much gold, you were so fabulously wealthy, that led to you creating the golden calf, because you didn't know what else to do with all this fabulous wealth that you had. Which begs the question, hold on a second, if the golden calf was a result of the Jews being so fabulously wealthy, why were they held accountable? Why did God complain that they did it? If it was beyond, it was just a natural result of what has happened. So here's the thing. Moses is telling us what our attitude should be like. Because of course, the Jews could have overcome that test and they could have prevented themselves from building the golden calf. But they have to recognize the fact that they were fabulously wealthy was challenging. It could lead to challenging. And that's kind of the attitude that we have to have. Before we walk into a situation, we need to have that attitude that, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm going to pass this. If we're going to walk into a situation which is spiritually dangerous, right, or can be compromising us in other ways, we cannot go in with the confidence, I know I'm going to be fine. Instead, we have to assume that we're not going to pass. And what happens when we do that? We look at things differently. We take a look at things and we make different decisions. And we look at the potential problems, right? And the potential negative things that could come up. And it helps us plan to overcome this. So while it might look like a negative mindset to go into, it's actually a very, very smart mindset to go into, to look at something and not assume that you're going to pass. And in fact, there's research that shows that people that see the problems are often more successful. Why? Because they see the problems, they know how to plan to overcome this. So when we're walking into a situation, or when we're making a decision about two things, right, we have to look at the spiritual impact of those things. And we cannot assume that we are going to pass the challenges of the challenges of that situation. And therefore, we have to make decisions based on that, and we have to plan for based on that, without that confidence that we are going to be fine. A little bit of foresight ahead of time can save a lot of heartache afterwards. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I'd love to hear if this resonated with you. And if you'd like to discuss it further, you can get in touch with me. You can find me on Instagram it's Gilaross, or you can WhatsApp me. My number is in the show notes, and we can set up a time to discuss this further. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Have a wonderful day, and please take a moment to rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast to anyone else who would benefit from it.